Hello my angels, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you have found this, please make sure to hit subscribe. So this is going to be how to get a super glowy, flawless, everyday makeup look within 10 minutes. So let's do this. First and foremost, I never start a makeup look without my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. It is such a fantastic product underneath makeup and is really the base to create what is going to be a super glowy and flawless makeup look. And I don't really hold back with the moisturizer. We want to ensure that our skin is hydrated and super plump. And I actually take a little bit of time to really massage this into the skin. I do actually, if I'm having an event or doing my makeup for a particular shoot or something important, I will actually put my magic cream on about an hour, if not 2, before I do my makeup, just to ensure that my skin is really, really ready for the makeup that I'm going to pop on. And it has really, really soaked it in. So I will pop it down my neck, my jawline, all around my eyes. And if you have got watery eyes, they do have a what's called their magic water cream, which is just slightly lighter. And it's a bit more of like a gel consistency. My mother swears by it because apparently this magic cream makes her eyes sometimes a little bit watery. I've never had that issue myself, but oh, good to know. So that is the moisturizer all rubbed in. Have a little look. Already we have a bit of glow. First things first, I use Charlotte Tilbury's Flawless Filter, and again I put quite a lot of this on. People are quite shocked by how much of this I put on, but really this is what makes my skin glow. This is in 4 medium. I take a foundation brush. This one is from Bobbi Brown, and I will just blend that out, just making sure that it looks super natural and looks straight away. It's already blended out and looking beautiful. I would say that it's probably a touch darker than my skin at the moment, but as soon as we see some sunshine, it will be perfect. And throughout the summer, I tend to use the Flawless Filter as my foundation, just because it gives you just a tiny bit of coverage, but most of all, a really gorgeous glow. So make sure to blend all of that into your hairline, around your ears, down your jaw. I'll never forget when I was a teenager, I would have done my makeup with a foundation shade that was far too dark for me, and my mother would come and she'd smear her finger along my jawline and be like, "You've not blended your makeup," and I'd be like absolutely horrified because I'd spent hours doing my makeup that I trotted out looking like Amy Winehouse. But yes, the hard lesson to learn was that my mother was always right. So because today I am filming and I have a very, very busy day, I am going to pop a tiny bit of foundation on. My favourites have got to be Estee Lauder Double Wear and Charlotte Tilbury's Flawless Foundation. Now the Airbrush Flawless Foundation has got quite a heavy coverage, I would say, but it's such a beautiful foundation whereby you can use a tiny amount and you can blend it out as much as you wish. So I like to just pop it over the top of any blemishes around my chin, definitely down my nose, because I think it's a really lovely base for when we're going to go in contour, and on my cheeks. Using the same brush that I did with the Hollywood Flawless Filter, I am going to blend that out in slight dabbing motions and also circular motions, just ensuring that that is well and truly blended. Make sure to go quite close under the eye, but don't worry, I'm going to be covering these eye bags up. I'm also going to get a slight mirror. I keep looking to this side because I have a mirror here, but I'm going to do this. There we go, and I'm going to just dab on my forehead and bring it down into the center and down my nose. And then if you can see any brush stroke marks, my best tip would be actually use your fingers, because of the heat of your fingers will just melt the product into your skin, and it just instantly looks really, really natural. That is my foundation all blended. And look at that, how natural does that look? So we are going to now cover the eye bags. And for eye bags, again, I have two favorites. A gal has her favorites, and hopefully she can find the other one. Here we go. Two. This is Estee Lauder's Futurist, and this is in 1N. And then we have the icon that is the Banana Lowlighter. Today I'm going to use the Banana Lowlighter. If it was red carpet or a big event, I'd probably use the Estee Lauder just because it's actually slightly thicker. But this is unbelievable. So we'll do one eye just so that you can see the difference. And I actually pop this from really, really on the inside of my eye, almost on the side of my nose, because that's actually where the dark circle starts. I will then bring it down underneath where you can see that indentation line, tiny bit on the top, and then we're going to lift. I also like to lift here, and I like to pop some underneath my nose. Sorry, we're meant to be doing one side. There's me forgetting. Okay. That is what we're going to do. Need to pop that in here. Need to pop that in there. And then, again, it depends upon how I'm feeling, but I will use a brush. It needs to look somewhat like so. And I'll start off by using the brush. And I will work it from the inside there. And blend it all the way up to my temple. Then using my finger, I will just then melt the product into my cheek. Blend out through the nose, and then I will blend that here. It's almost what the professionals call a reverse contour by popping a tiny bit of concealer here, because we are going to bronze up this side, and then it's going to really act as the definition and the lift. And straight away, look at the difference. Isn't that amazing? Look at the dark circle here. Gone, gone. So let's go ahead and do the other side. So just to remind you, tiny bit on the inside of my eye, underneath here, and lifting up, lift a little bit here, and a little bit in there. And voila, the concealer banana lowlighter is done. Now for contour. I appreciate this can terrify people, but that's because you probably haven't tried Charlotte Tilbury's contour wand. I have this in their fair to medium. They do it in a few different shades, and I would say that when you put it on, you're like, oh, that is far too dark for me, but I am here to try to relax you and share with you my top tips. I'm also going to caveat by, I am not a professional makeup artist. I am just a beauty enthusiast and have done my own makeup as well as other people's makeups too many times to count. So it has a very nifty little twist, and you want to twist, get a tiny bit of product onto that sponge, but not too much. Then close the twist, that's the key. And then we make a very silly face. You want to place the contour just above where you suck in your cheeks. So when doing this, please think of me and go Then I pop a tiny bit over the top of my forehead. I bring the contour down my nose. And this is where you can really define your face. And I wish I was born with a narrow nose. Sadly not. And this way I'm able to create a very narrow nose look without having surgery. So then you are going to want to have a blending brush like so. This one is from Beauty Effect. I highly recommend their brushes. They do a fantastic set whereby you get loads of brushes for the most amazing price point. They look beautiful, they're cruelty free, they're vegan, and they are fantastic. So I start off with my cheekbones and I just do very small dabbing motions. And we want to blend this in, and by you can see I continue to make that silly face. And then once I've got it in the exact location I want it, I will start to do upward motions, never down. We don't want to bring the product down, we want to lift. And I will make sure that I am blending into my hairline and up into my temple. You won't believe it, that little bit of product that was here is going to actually match up to what we have on our forehead, creating a super golden and very sculpted makeup look. So that is one side. As easy as that. We've gone from terrifying contour that looks far too dark for me to a beautifully golden sculpted cheekbone. So let's continue with this side, and after a few seconds, done. And then the forehead, I use circular motions just to blend this out, and again I will blend it into the hairline and down into the temple. And I don't actually bring this too far down my forehead. We want to look as though we have genuinely been sun-kissed, and the top of your forehead is where you tend to capture the most amount of sun. So that is the forehead and the cheekbones done. Let's contour the nose, and for this I just take the brush and I glide it up and down and up and down and up and down the tip of my nose, and then I will brush it all the way through my eyebrow, and it just defines your eyebrow bone that then sculpts down your nose. And that is one side done. And as I said earlier, you can create a really, really defined nose, even if you weren't blessed with one at birth. Okay, and I make sure to blend that again into my eyebrow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is contour done. A product I have been using for years is the Film Star Bronze and Glow. I love the bronzer. It is not only beautiful, it has a really gorgeous, very warm tone to the bronzer, and also super easy to blend out. So I will just use a smaller fluffy brush. This is actually from Charlotte Tilbury. And I think they do a set whereby you get the brush as well, so I will try and find that and link it down below. And I will just go over where I've gone with the liquid bronzer and ensure that it looks super natural. I do also tend to bring it onto my eyelid as the base of my eyeshadow, because it's so tonal. It literally looks as though you have been sunbathing. It just begins to really warm up your face. I'll bring it slightly underneath the chin just to create a little bit of definition, and voila! For eyeshadow, I want to keep it really natural, and Giorgio Armani do these beautiful eye tints. It's a gorgeous chocolate brown, and it's super tonal with the makeup that I've already created. It also comes with a beautiful little applicator, and it's so easy to blend out. Again, I think these things can look quite scary, but I will put a touch of it on my eyelid like so, and then using a small eyeshadow buffing brush, I will just buff that out and lift it up the brow. It's a gorgeous matte, and I think it's just such a stunning product. And as easy as that, look at how pretty that is. It really, really makes my blue eyes pop. And I would just make sure that I'm not bringing my eyeshadow down at all, and it creates, again, a really lifted look. I kind of feel at this stage you just have to trust the process, because it could go one of two ways. We're looking very bronzed and very sculpted, but it's when you start to pop on the blusher and the lip liner, do you see the whole look together? So again, I'm just working that into the crease of my eyelid and actually all the way up into my eyebrows. And voila, as easy as that. It is beautifully blended and just such a wearable eye tint. For blush, I'm using the iconic Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. Again, I love the colour, and I think it has a really, really beautiful shimmer to it. So I will bring this just above where we went with the contour, apples of the cheeks, and lift all the way up into the temple. And again, it's amazing how just a tiny bit of product in the right place can instantly lift. And trust me when I say putting product in the wrong place, you then start getting cloud makeup, which is not the vibe. And I've recently been popping this on, and then Charlotte Tilbury have recently launched their Unreal blush sticks. And let me tell you, they are unreal. Let me show you. So here she is, and this is Charlotte Tilbury's Rosy Glow. And I'm just going to show you. I pop it on like this, and it creates such a gorgeous, flushed and flirty rosy tint. And again, just using my finger, I allow this to just melt into my cheek, and it is absolutely beautiful. And it's incredible how long it lasts. I think if you were on a beach in the summer and you just wanted a little bit of colour, maybe you're at a beach club and you're going to sit down for lunch and you just want like a really gorgeous, almost like a little bit of a blushed look, you pop it up here over your nose, a tiny bit on your forehead. What I love the most is that you can actually transfer it and use it on your lips as well. It's such a gorgeous, gorgeous product. And there, how cute is that? Now, a few weeks ago, I bought the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, and I am obsessed. It is incredible. It is literally like a brow freeze. It is a clear gel. And what I love the most is that it doesn't touch any of the product around your eyebrow, and it literally freezes your brows. And I can create a really defined but yet bushy brow look. And look at that, isn't that insane? And let me tell you that your brows will not budge. This is insane. So what I would suggest, if you like to fill your brows out a little bit, do that first and then pop this on. And all I can say is you will thank me. Lips, I have a new summer combo. This is the lip liner that I literally use every day without fail. It is Charlotte Tilbury's Lip Sheet in Super Size Me. And this is Giorgio Armani's Prisma Glass Icy Plumper, and it is insane. It has such a gorgeous high gloss to it, but it's not sticky and it lasts so long. So the lip liner, I will overline. I don't know why I always think that I can talk to you guys when doing my lip liner. I overline my lips a bit, yes. I am guilty. Overlining the lips. Oh gosh. People on TikTok have been coming for me about me overlining my lips. That's something I was not aware of. TikTok is a whole nother ball game, and people in the comments Holy shamoly, are people mean? But anyway, so what I will tend to do is actually blend that out and just take a little bit of the Super Size Me colour into the middle of my lips. And it's just slightly darker than my natural lip tone. And then this, also, can we take a moment for the gorgeous packaging, the beautiful applicator, and then you just wait until you see this gorgeous gloss, and you just see my lips take a whole lease of life of themselves. It does have a slight pale pink colour to it, you can see that, but it is mostly sheer with that gorgeous lip liner. Beautiful. Now, finally, mascara, and I've been using Hourglass's Caution Extreme Lashes, and I have been loving it. I like how precise you can be, and a little trick of mine is to take the wand right to the root, give it a wiggle, and then bring the brush all the way out. Wiggle out, wiggle out, and again you can really get into the corner and get all of those teeny tiny little hairs. I absolutely love the brush that they've used on this. A little bit of a wiggle on the bottom lashes, not too much. We don't want any spider legs. We want big, bushy, no clumps, long lashes. And so many people have been saying to me, have you got lash extensions? I'm like, no, you just need to try this mascara and have a look. One eye, the other eye. One eye, the other eye. Okay, right. Oh my gosh, look at the lips. Wiggle. And also, you can put on quite a few different coats of this. Those are the lashes done, and now for a tiny touch of highlighter. This is Dior Beauty's Glow Luminizer in 01 Nude Halo. I use a very, very fluffy angled brush, and I will just bring this around my temples and blend it almost into that gorgeous blusher at the top there. And we want no harsh lines. We just want to look golden, slightly flushed, almost as though someone is making us blush. And then I use my finger, pop a tiny touch of it on the tip of my nose, a little bit on my Cupid's bow, and if you really want to, pop it just on the touch of your brow bone. And that is gorgeous. And the final touch is some powder. This is Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush Flawless Finish in One Fair. And I like to be really precise with my powder, because what you can do is reverse contour, really creating a very, very sculpted cheekbone. This is how you get the supermodel cheekbones. So I will use a teddy bear brush from Rodial. This is the baby teddy bear. And I will bring my powder just underneath the line that we went with the bronzer. I'm going to bring it here, tiny touch on my chin. I will tiny touch underneath my eye and set down each side of my nose. You kind of want to go where you would get a little bit greasy. I tend to really get quite shiny in the middle of my forehead. Tiny touch down the middle of my nose, around my nostrils, in my chin. And then we're going to sculpt the sides. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my makeup done. Probably in just over 10 minutes if I'm being quick and not nattering on with you guys. But yeah, an everyday, super glowy, very natural, bronzed makeup look of dreams. Just need a tiny bit of hairspray. I need a little bit of deodorant. I don't know about you. You need to tell me in the comments down below. I might be completely off the wall, but I only brush my teeth after I've had my first coffee. Otherwise, I feel like the first coffee is ruined. Well, it depends upon whether I'm like getting up and off and out. That way I'm definitely brushing my teeth before the coffee. But if I'm at home, I'll get up, walk the dogs, make my cup of coffee, have my coffee and come up, do my hair and my makeup and shower and everything, and then I will brush my teeth. Otherwise, it just ruins the taste of the coffee. And so anyway, hair and makeup is done and I'm gonna go and brush my teeth. But whilst I brush my teeth, I've also got a serious discount code to share with you guys.